Hello and welcome to Mouth Matters, the world's first podcast dedicated to all things oral healthcare. I am your host Hudson Hector, a dentist and hygienist.
And I'm Jennifer Mitchell, a registered dental hygienist with a passion for making people smile.
Each week we'll dive into fascinating topics, expert advice, and practical tips to help you achieve and maintain a healthy and beautiful smile.
So sit back, relax, and let's get ready to explore the wonderful world of oral health together.
Hello everyone, welcome to Mouth Matters, the second episode, and today we will be talking about why brushing matters. I'm here, your host Hudson Hector, and my co-host,
Hi, Jennifer Mitchell here.
and today we will be talking about brushing. It's
Why
a
why does it matter?
why brushing really matters. That's a good question.
Why does brushing matter, Hudson?
Brushing matters. The reason for that, it is important when you brush your teeth, you remove food and plaque, and that is a sticky white film that form on your teeth and contain bacteria. And Jennifer, can you tell us about those bacteria? I know that you have a background in microbiology, and
Yes.
please tell us about those bacteria.
Yes, so I have a degree in biology, concentration in microbiology. So working in the dental field is really important to me because I think of it in very tiny microscopically. So when we're talking about bacteria, we're talking about a teeny tiny little organism that you can't see with your eyes. It's basically invisible to our naked eyes. And bacteria causes all of our dental woes, cavities, gingivitis, gum disease. All of it is caused by a little teeny tiny bacteria that lives and grows in your mouth.
Including bad breath, they are also called halitosis.
Mhm. Yes. So
Exactly.
it's all bacteria. Anything that goes on in the mouth, it's all bacterial related. And fun fact, the mouth is the dirtiest place in your whole body. It's completely overrun and contaminated and full of bacteria.
That's so true. But at the same time, I don't want people to think, oh, bacteria is that bad guy. However, we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria.
Yes.
And the problem is when the bad guys, the bad bacteria, you have more of those bad guy than the good guy.
Right.
That will cause problem because everyone have the same amount of bacteria in the mouth. They have the same over 300, 330 species of bacteria.
Yes.
However, there's a the bacteria that does not need oxygen that they call or anaerobic bacteria because you can have your mouth closed and they are doing the work. And then the good bacteria they need oxygen to keep the balance in the mouth,
Yeah.
isn't it?
The good, you need good and bad bacteria. The good bacteria actually fights off and staves away bad bacteria. So you're right what you're saying. Not all bacteria is bad bacteria. You have to have good bacteria in there as well. And brushing helps to balance out that good and bad bacteria. So it's not just all bad bacteria.
Exactly. And one other thing, after you eat a meal or snack that contains sugar, that the bacteria love,
Hmm.
because what the bacteria what they do, they just produce an acid that attack the tooth enamel, right?
Yep. The
That's
enamel.
yeah, the enamel. That's where what you see has a they call it the crown part of the mouth,
Hmm.
the pearly white.
Yes.
uh I prefer to say pearly white than pearly yellow, right?
Right. We only want white.
We want the white one, or the translucent a calcify a mineral that is in the mouth. Those bacteria produce an acid, the same way you see the acid in a battery, like for the car. That the same, almost the same type of acid that attack the enamel and that give cavities. We call it. I prefer to call it a demineralization of
Yeah.
the enamel, and those same toxin as well affect the bone that supports the teeth. Later on, we will revise that when we're going to study the periodontal disease, when we're going to have bone loss and all of that. Those
Yes.
are the same bacteria that cause that problem. But now, what happens if you don't brush your teeth
What happens if you don't brush your teeth?
regularly?
Lots of bad things happen when you don't brush your teeth. Preventable bad things.
Exactly, because plaque build up on teeth and can harden into tartar.
Mhm.
Plaque is the softened a biofilm. Tartar is, I call it like piece of stone.
Yeah, it's hard on cement. Yeah.
Exactly, adding into tartar and
And
provide
also really
in.
quick, biofilm, the plaque, which is a biofilm, and a biofilm just means colonies of bacteria. So when you think of plaque on your teeth, it's just a whole city of bacteria hanging out on your teeth, just having a good time destroying your teeth.
Exactly, exactly. It's almost like you're into a big city and people walking like it's like those bacteria walking in your city,
Yeah,
in your mouth.
right,
Definitely. And that provide a nice environment for those bacteria to thrive.
to
That's
grow.
mean exactly. You get more bacteria on those turtle, like those hardened surfaces, than even the plaque itself. And when the plaque is formed, you have like 24 hours. And the bacteria, the torta itself, it's more hours. I believe it's like 48 to 72 hours. That's when after you brush or after you get your cleaning, your prophylactic cleaning at the dentist with your hygienist, that's that forming. That's the reason that you have to keep on brushing regularly.
Hmm.
Now the question now, how often someone's supposed to brush?
Yeah, how often do we brush? What do you tell your patients, Hudson?
Generally, I said to my patients, it's important to brush at least twice a day.
Yes.
The reason that because I say twice a day is because you are quite busy at work,
Hmm.
and I said the most important time to brush is at night
Hmm.
because during the day you eat, you talk, but at night you close your mouth. Most time, most people close
Hmm.
their mouth, and the same anaerobic type of bacteria that we talk that cause evoke in your mouth, that give the periodontal disease, the cavities. Now they say yes, there is a party, there is food for us.
Yeah.
Let's produce some acid.
When your
You know
mouth is closed at night, it's warm, it's dark, it's moist, and that's exactly what the bacteria loves to grow. That's their environment, dark, warm, moist areas. So the bacteria really grows fast at nighttime, and that's why brushing at night
exactly.
is the most important time to brush.
Exactly, because there's less oxygen in the mouth where the good bacteria can thrive. Now
Mhm.
it's playtime, for
Yeah.
the play date for the those anaerobic bacteria that cause the problem. I'm sure later on when we're going to talk about periodontal disease in future episode, we will Jen will go over those type of bacteria, each of them, what they cause, all of that. And I
All that
cannot
stuff.
wait for that episode.
Yeah, me too. I love talking about bacteria. I love bacteria,
Exactly,
just not the bad
exactly.
bacteria in our mouths.
One, yes, we talk about often. I ask patients, how often do you brush your teeth? I have a
Mhm.
patient that told me, I brush my teeth anytime I take a shower.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. If you take a shower twice a day, why
Mhm.
not? You know?
Yeah.
But that person say, I take it like 2, 3 times a week. I
A
brush two
shower?
times a week.
Can they
Take
brush
a
their
shower.
teeth?
You brush your teeth. And I always say, okay, that's good. That's mean you want to do it more often because at least you need to brush your teeth twice a
Twice
day.
a day, yes.
And when is even that when is the best time? I always say to my patients, before you go to bed, it's
Mhm,
important to floss your teeth, you
mhm.
brush and use a mouthwash.
Yeah,
Right? That's my protocol pretty much.
yeah.
That's the way to get those guys out. Because in the morning, most people will do it because they don't want to wake up with bad breath anyway.
Mhm.
That does all some of those bacteria will cause anyway. You will do
Right.
it. My personal habit now is to I do it at night, and then I in the morning I prefer to eat breakfast
Mhm.
first because if you do it before you eat breakfast, what are you brushing anyway?
Right.
Because you want to remove those particle of food and those plaque out first. That's why you should wait you eat your breakfast. Some people, oh, my mouth is too dirty. But
I
if you
know.
brush at night, it's not as dirty as you think.
Right.
That's why the reason for brushing is to remove those sugary stuff, those
The
particle of
sugar
food.
bugs.
Exactly. And if you have time during the day, like it's good that I'm in the dental office, I take a toothbrush
Mhm.
and have my toothbrush in after my lunch break. I brush, floss, brush, and I have my mouthwash anyway
Right.
to keep that going. But some people don't have that luxury,
Mhm.
to have that. I always say to people, at least 10 minutes after, if you have your toothbrush with you, just wet it. You don't even to have a toothpaste,
No,
right?
yep.
And just do
Dry
that.
brushing. I always recommend dry brushing. Whenever someone's like, I don't have time to brush, I say, don't confine yourself to the bathroom. Don't confine yourself to a sink. You can take your toothbrush wherever you're going and just dry brush. You don't even need toothpaste or anything. Just get it in
Exactly.
your mouth.
Exactly, exactly. It's very important because what you are doing, it's disturbing, disturbing the flora, disturbing the bacteria cycle,
Right.
of producing those acids that will affect, that will attack the teeth and the gum later on.
Right.
Definitely, definitely. It's a good way to do that. And other question, how is it too late to start brushing again? Because
Is it
some people
ever
never
too
do that.
I hear that a lot with patients. They always say, I never took care of my teeth and it's too late. It's too late for me now. Just take out all my teeth and I'll wear dentures. And I always tell my patients, it's never too late to start a dental hygiene or a dental care routine. And also, teeth are very forgiving. And you can always hop on board at any time. If you fall off, you can always hop back on. So it's never too late to do better, or make improvements when it comes to your oral
Ex-
care.
Exactly, because it's never too late to make your oral health a priority again. No matter how long you've been without a dental care, brushing. I've I've had a patient haven't been brushed for 45 years
Mhm.
because of depressions. We're going to have a mental health counselor on the show one day to
Yes,
see the
definitely.
link between depression and mental health and dental care. That is very important.
Very
And
important.
how those same bacteria that we are talking about, how that can even affect your mental health as well.
Mhm. Yes.
And yeah, it's never too late. It's never too late to start brushing, to take your oral health again as
Right.
a priority. And that is the reason that we start that podcast, to tell you that, to help you in your journey to better of your dental or oral health.
Yeah, oral health, it's a journey, and we're here to help anybody out who has questions and just wants to know more, cuz
Exactly.
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. That's why we want to equip our patients, our audience, with the knowledge they need, that they can make a decision for themselves that
Mhm.
will better them later in life, and even their family, because kids learn from their parents,
Right.
especially oral health,
Right.
especially dental anxiety. They
Mhm.
learn it from, it's a learned behavior that's they learn from parents and
Right.
from associate, from people close to them.
And
And
oral health, with in regards to oral health is one of those things that it is private, and parents teach children that. So when it comes to oral health, you only know what your parents taught you, and that's all you know. Some people were never taught to brush, they don't know anything about it. So we want to make sure that everyone knows about it, that parents know what to do so they can also pass that information on to their children.
exactly, it's very important.
Very
And
important.
now, what happened if someone, they are not brushing after a week? What happened after not brushing for a week?
Ooh, stinky breath. Weak enamel, definitely. The enamel definitely starts weakening, full of bacteria.
Exactly. Definitely. After a week, the enamel of your teeth become weakened and start to pretty much start to fail. And the plaque that hasn't been removed will increase the development of bad breath.
Hmm. And the reason why bad breath, when you have a lot of bacteria breaks things down. Like, think of garbage, like rotting garbage. There's bacteria in there. It's breaking it down. It's trash. And when you don't brush, all that food buildup sits on your teeth, and then the bacteria break it down. Just think of it as like a trash can. It's stinky, stinky trash.
Yes, yes, definitely. Like we said, like those bacteria, they always to produce, to produce acid to break things down. They
Hmm.
will break down in your teeth, and then that when you're going to have some what we call cavitation, you know,
Cavitation. That's
and that
of
the
a hole.
first exactly, and you start having the first step of cavities that we call incipient caries, and that starts to become bigger. You have moderate caries, and then that lead to having like a failed a tooth, and then that give you like to you have to see a endodontist later
Yeah.
on because it's could become closer to the pulp.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
cavity can get so big, it reaches, like, the nerve of the tooth, and
exactly,
then you gotta
exactly.
go see a specialist.
Definitely, and to have a root canal done, it's like you kill the tooth, remove the circulation, the nerve, and all of that. That is not cheap.
No, very expensive,
It
and
can be a
then
thousand, even more for
yeah,
a canal. I'm
it
excited
would
to
be,
have
yeah,
it. I'm excited to have the endodontist, one friend on the show, to explain all those stuff to patient. Why is it important?
right.
And this is
Mhm.
what would canal. And then plus after that, you have to pay for a posting core or build up
Yeah,
plus a crown.
I was
That is
gonna say,
another.
like, the root canal itself is one procedure, and that's also a lot of money, and then after, to protect the tooth, because now the tooth is dead, you have to also get a crown or some other type of buildup on the tooth. And then that in itself is an entirely different procedure, also a lot of money too.
Exactly, and it will depend on what type of crown. If it's crown with ceramic, is it zirconia? Is it like,
Gold
it's different.
crown,
Gold crown is it platinum, diamond.
diamond crown.
It's a lot for people to consider when that happen. Yeah, we're talking about like, if you don't do that after a week, you're going to have bad breath. And cleaning a plaque ridden tooth is difficult, right? Because
Hmm.
we will be difficult to remove it with brushing.
Hmm.
Again, I don't want you guys come to see us, and when you have like those soda that look very old in all those bacteria, and most likely when you see those soda that look, especially under the gum, that look like thorn in a rose, they're already causing damage. You will start your bones start melting.
Yeah, the bacteria destroys the bone. It deteriorates the bone, causing
Exactly,
the tooth to
periodontitis
decay.
is right there.
Mhm. And
Definitely.
there's no reversing that. Like, your bone holding your teeth in place, it's different than your arm bone or your leg bone. Your arm bone and your leg bone, if it's broken, it'll grow back. But the
Exactly.
bone holding your teeth in place, once it's deteriorated, it's gone. It doesn't grow back ever. So that's why brushing and flossing is important, so we can maintain that good bone holding our teeth in place to keep our mouths and our teeth healthy.
Exactly, exactly. Now, we've been talking about brushing a lot, the importance of brushing. But what are the tools people should be using? Should they use whatever things to brush? I have experience like how many years since 2000 2005 or something like that. I went to Africa. I went to Africa in a mission trip, and I was one of the two dentists
Mhm.
that was in the trip.
Yep.
And I see in Senegal, I went to Senegal, went to different villages to help people. I remember it was a great time. I see over 500 patients, Yeah, over
Wow.
500 patients in less than, I spent 19 days, but not 19 days in campus, but working,
And you
and
saw
they'd be like,
500 patients in
yeah,
19 days?
yes.
That's
We
crazy.
see, we see a lot of patient, a lot of extraction, a lot of
Mhm.
minor surgery.
Yeah.
That was the best, my prime time.
Yeah.
My
And I
prime
bet
time.
those people really needed it and really were glad you were there.
Yeah. And a lot of those people, what happened? They have some nice pearly white teeth.
Yeah, they do.
And the problem was the gum.
Ah, mhm.
The problem
Yeah.
was the gum. And unfortunately, if you don't have enough bones supports, you have to have extraction.
Yeah, the
Even
teeth will just fall out too.
exactly, even in the practice where I'm working, I see it often. People have good teeth, and you have to remove everything. And I remember I have a patient. I'm not going to say anything about that patient. A young person, 45 years old,
Mhm.
well educated, pretty much in a professional working for a high, big company,
Mhm.
and scared to go to the dentist for a while. And when the patient come, teeth don't have any cavities, but
Mhm.
8-10 millimeter pocket.
Yeah. The
And we sit down with the periodontist. The thing was like extraction of
yeah.
all of it, the faceting, and then do implant up and bottom, 4 and 5 in 5 and 4. It's really, that's really hurt me,
Yeah.
because a young guy like at 45 to lose all your teeth and then you have to have implant.
Yeah.
And my concern was like, even having implants, if you are not taking care of it,
They'll fall out too.
you're going to fail. You're going to have what they call mucositis. You
Mhm.
know,
It's
when
all to do with bone, like, the implant goes right into the bone. You gotta keep that bone healthy. Even though there's no tooth there, you still have to keep that implant healthy. Because if the
exactly.
bone fails, the implant it literally will just come out.
Not even the implant only, even having a denture, you don't have
Mhm.
enough bone to have resistance
Denture
for
won't
the
stay
for to,
in.
to sit. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, so that's mean, and it can be prevented by brushing,
Brushing and flossing.
flossing, brushing. You have the mouthwash, all of that to help you go through. Okay, now something is very important.
Mhm.
Patient keep asking, what is the best toothbrush for me to use?
Yes.
What is the best toothpaste to use, because
Yes.
that is part of the brushing.
Mhm.
What do you advise your patient, Jennifer, to use for toothbrush?
Toothbrush, I always recommend an electric toothbrush, any brand. When it comes to patient care, everyone's different. And what works for me might not work for you. So I always recommend you might have to try different products. You might have to shop around to find something that works best for you. But I always recommend at least an electric toothbrush with a pressure sensor.
Yeah, that's good. For me, I recommend, I don't have, some patient want to be in control. They prefer to use a manual toothbrush. But what I say, make sure that you use like a soft bristle toothbrush
Yeah, soft bristle.
or ultra soft,
Yes. No
because the softer
medium,
it is, you
no
don't
hard.
want to, it's not like you have a pot, you are like cleaning with like those big, how they call it, I don't even remember the name.
What,
That's not
Brillo
spongy, like,
pads? Yeah,
yes.
Brillo pads.
Exactly.
Super
You know that.
abrasive. Just brush your enamel, brush your teeth and gums right out of there.
Just massage your gum exactly soft, and then use a, do that. And one of the thing patient love to ask, oh, what type of toothpaste I should use?
Mhm.
There is a lot of toothpaste
A lot.
out there,
So
and most
much.
of them are good. Use a less abrasive type of toothpaste. It is
Mhm.
important. It is important.
I would also say, calm down on the whitening toothpaste. Whitening toothpaste is very abrasive. It
Abrasive,
removes
definitely.
it removes a fine layer of enamel off of your teeth. That's what gives it the whiteness. So, whitening toothpaste, I do not recommend. Only every once in a while if you want to boost whiteness, but
Exactly.
consistently is a no-no. Just a regular.
To
Uh,
remove some stains is sometime once in a while. Yes,
mhm.
definitely, definitely. That is a, I agree with you 100%. That's the way to do that because it will remove the enamel,
Mhm.
the thin layer of enamel. It's, use a less abrasive, use a one that have a fluoride in it. But I
Fluoride.
know, yeah, I know a lot of people now have they are skeptical about fluoride. That's another episode that we will talk
That's
about
a
fluoride.
that'll be a big episode later.
Yes, yes, because there is a lot of stuff about it out there not to use fluoride,
Yeah.
and just like like fluoride is not a chemical. I
Uh-huh.
want people to know that it's a
It's a
minerals
natural mineral that occurs
that
in the on the earth in the earth.
in the earth. It's
Yes,
from nature.
it's from nature.
Anything from nature is pretty much good, and it's good yourself. Your body need fluoride as
Uh-huh.
well
I
because
I
it's a mineral. It's not only your teeth.
I do want to preface, um, like with anything, too much of a good thing is bad. So, like, you can have too much water and you can get sick and die. You can have too much oxygen, you can get sick and die. You can, like, just like that, you can have too much of things. You can have too much fluoride as well. But if you use fluoride toothpaste and mouthwash correctly, you will not overdose on it. It's really difficult to do. You literally have to drink a bottle of fluoride rinse and eat a tube of fluoride toothpaste to get really sick. So a lot of people are
You mean
concerned that
do you mean put it in the bread? The
yes, just
taste.
squirt your toothpaste out
Like
on the
it feel
bread
like the
and
peanut?
make a sandwich and just eat it. You're gonna get sick. But if you're using it correctly and responsibly, you are totally fine. A lot of people out there are scared to use fluoride because they think it's gonna make them sick. It's gonna calcify their brains and things like that. If you're using it correctly, it's totally safe. And I just want to preface
Exactly.
that.
And there is some scientific study behind it. Unlike so many people out there just throw their opinion and then they want it to become a reality. There, like I always say, someone opinion doesn't have to become your reality in
Hmm.
anything. It's the same thing as oral healthcare.
Hmm.
It's someone's opinion about fluoride, and it's nothing like that particular. I have a patient, oh, I don't want fluoride. I say, what you don't like about fluoride? And sometimes they don't even know what is really fluoride. I
Right.
want you to know again, it's a natural minerals found on Earth, and the best thing find in Connecticut, where I am. I'm excited, right? That's where they discover it,
Oh, in
and
Connecticut?
in Connecticut, the first time they discover
Wow.
fluoride, it's
Interesting. I didn't know
and
that.
yeah, and they even have the. I remember I went to a events, a workshop. And they have the first piece of fluoride that they ever discovered. It's still there,
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know some natural water sources are naturally fluorinated because
Yeah.
fluoride occurs naturally in
In the
nature?
earth, yes, yes, definitely, definitely. It's like unlike in Polo Springs, some Evian or something like that.
Yeah.
Your like I'll say again, your teeth need fluoride, your body need fluoride. It's a
Hmm.
natural minerals that will help you. And then if when we go there, I will tell you how many diseases and all those stuff that fluoride can even prevent to people
Hmm.
to have.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
interested to hear about that later.
yeah, and yeah, if we go back to to the brushing, yeah, that is yeah, pretty much that's part of it. You'll use less abrasive type of toothpaste, and if you already have cavities, your dentist, your hygienist will prescribe you, will advise you to get a I can say prescription of fluoride toothpaste.
Toothpaste. Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm not. There's so many out there
Yes.
such as Previdence, such as Clean Pro. There's so many
Florida.
out there.
Yeah, tons,
Fjordex, yes,
tons.
definitely, tons
Just
of
pick
it
one.
with different flavor. Just
Yes.
whatever they recommend or you feel like your taste can support as well. It's important, right?
Also, really quick, I just want to point out we're going to be all inclusive to all types of thoughts and opinions in regard to oral health. Um, just like you mentioned, some people don't want fluoride, and that's totally fine. You are, the boss of your oral health, so you get to decide what you want to do with your body. And some people don't want to do fluoride. I think a good alternative to fluoride, there is something called hydroxyapatite toothpaste, and it's also the same building blocks that enamel is made out of, and that's also a good alternative to fluoride for those who don't want fluoride.
Yeah, different and one of the things that a lot of time I realize people don't really want fluoride is because they don't really know the importance of fluoride or what is really fluoride. And I take my time sometimes to explain that to them why it is, how it's binding to the T2 from the hydroxyfluoroapatite
Mhm.
that's, sealed the teeth. Let's say they have sensitivity because of brushing, and one of the reason people are supposed to have that, let's leave that for later because we're
Yeah,
talking about brushing, we talk
yeah,
about fry. I'm so excited about that topic. Let's
yeah,
leave
me
that
too.
topic for
I
now.
can't wait.
And
I can't.
sorry folks, let's go back to our brushing. Yes, and I talk about that we have manual toothbrush, and I recommend to my patients to change that every 30 days because by the time 30 days full with bacteria,
Mm-hmm.
and you it's already say okay goodbye,
Yeah,
they
it's
already open,
it's
okay,
dirty.
it's good, like
Yeah, it's
30
dirty
30
brush.
days.
Dirty.
If you have electric toothbrush, because it's quite more expensive for the
Mhm.
toothbrush head, I
Mhm.
say about like 2 to 3 months you can
Mhm.
change it. But
I always say
other
at least every season, so that's 4 times a year, every 3 months at least.
yes, yes, I agree, like to see a way for people to remember pretty much.
Mhm.
And during those 3 months, there is something that's very important. I always do my patients that call hygiene of the toothbrush,
Mhm.
right? What's the easiest thing to do is get hydrogen peroxide.
Mhm.
You leave the toothbrush head, and it's for some good 3 to 5 or even more hours. What it does, because the hydrogen peroxide have the oxygen in it, the hydrogen in just like some of most of those bacteria and just blow them up, explode them
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
kill all those bacteria, and then you use
Mhm.
hot water and you wash them away
Mhm.
in the
Yeah,
toothbrush. That's like a quick way to clean,
disinfect your toothbrush.
disinfect. Exactly. Or some people have like a little pack that puts the head toothbrush. He has like you use UV light to
Yeah, UV
clean.
light.
UV
There
light to clean that as well.
there are lots of different ways to disinfect your toothbrush. Maybe we'll talk about all the different ways in another episode, but there are tons of different ways.
Exactly, exactly. And I believe in the first episode we talked quickly about brushing techniques.
Mhm.
There is different brushing techniques, and but you want to talk a little bit about that, Jen? I
Um, you go ahead and talk about it. You touched base on it the episode before, so go ahead and tell us about it. And I have my toothbrush here, and I'm just gonna see if I can mimic the motion as you talk about it.
Okay, great. Okay, for the best cleaning actions, right? It's hold your toothbrush at a 45-degree angle, right?
Yeah,
45-degree angle.
toward
And
the gums.
yes, focus on the gum line. Use gentle circular motions to brush the outside, right?
Yeah, you want to
And
gently brush and massage the gums as you brush the teeth.
exactly, because remember, it has like nerve, it has like with circulation, vein in arteries and all of that. Inside, as well on the showing surface of every tooth.
Mhm.
And don't forget to brush or scrub your tongue before
Ah,
you are done. Yes, some toothbrush has like a scratch part for you to scrub your tongue. And like I know Jennifer love this a tongue
a
scraper
tongue scraper.
because you have the thrush, you have all those bacteria that can be yellowish
Mhm.
or can be whitish
Or black,
on the tongue or black.
brown,
Black,
and
unless
hairy,
something that call have black hairy tongue. That's
black
something
hairy
in another
tongue.
one. Exactly, in another episode we'll go over that. Because your tongue's supposed to be pinkish,
Mhm.
not reddish, because reddish indicate a lack of vitamin
Mhm.
B
Mhm.
and magnesium and all of that. That's
Yeah.
another episode, but I
Another
want to say
episode.
like,
Yep.
yes, another episode. Yeah, it's important that you do that. That's the best technique. of brushing your teeth. There is brass technique, there is brass modify, and all of that. But so far, it's the best technique about the circular movement, and I think that's the most technique that we learn from our parents. And there's a thing back and forth. A lot of people brushing their teeth back and forth.
Yeah,
That is really bad. It's like you are cutting the neck of your tooth while you're doing that, especially if the toothbrush is not as soft or ultra soft toothbrush.
right. And you're just brushing in like one area. Like when you go in circles, you're kind of widening that area of brushing, and you're getting more like in between the teeth and around the gums, and you're just getting more surface when you go in circles.
Exactly. Definitely. Okay, Jennifer, do you want to go over the brushing, our brushing session, even you are doing it right now?
Yes, it's time for a brushing break. So
That's your time.
that's my time. It's my favorite time. We're going to be accountable about getting brushing in. And something someone told me once that really stuck with me, brushing means that you love yourself. So make sure that you love yourself more, love yourself often. Look at yourself, look at the small details, love yourself from the top hair on your head all the way down to your pinky toe. And we're going to brush and we're going to love ourselves. So 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Exactly. Remember the motion. You do the
Remember the
outside.
motion. Yep. We're going to start on the outside. Angle your
Circular movement.
toothbrush. Yep. 45-degree angle toward the gums.
Hmm.
Little bitty circles. Get the
Hmm.
inside. And think to yourself, I'm taking care of myself. I'm massaging my gums. I'm massaging my teeth.
Just like the spa, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Get in there. Close your eyes if you have to. And
You are living it up.
just yeah, like for that moment, you're just taking such good care of yourself. And think, I'm getting all that bacteria out of there. No stinky breath, no stinky
Mhm.
bacteria. Get it out of there. And just take a moment to yourself. It's only 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes. You can spare 2 minutes out of your 24 hours. Get it done. Mm. Get the top teeth, get the bottom teeth,
Mhm.
get around the gums, get in there, little bitty circles. Take your time. If you're rushing, you're brushing too fast. Too fast and too hard, you're going to miss spots. You're going to brush away your gums and your teeth. We don't want that.
When you say missing, it's like leave bacteria behind.
What did you say?
When you say missing some spot, it's like
Yep.
leaving bacteria behind to continue to
Yep.
do the work.
You got to get in the nooks and crannies. You don't want to leave anything. Almost done. And then also another thing, when you're done brushing, feel your teeth with your tongue just to make sure. A clean tooth is going to feel slick and smooth and shiny. And then a dirty tooth, if there's still bacteria on there, it's going to feel rough and fuzzy. So when you're done brushing, take just 10 seconds to just feel your teeth with your tongue. And if you feel a little spot, go back and hit it. Check it again. If it feels good, then you're all done. And that concludes our brushing break.
Awesome. Awesome. Now it's time for our dental fact.
Dental facts. I'm excited.
Nice, nice. The dental fact today it's about the history of the toothbrush.
Okay.
It's just a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked yourself when to brush, when to start with that toothbrush? The people use their finger before. There's people
Okay.
use their spongy or whatever to use.
Mhm. A blade of grass to like pick in the teeth.
Exactly, or they call it a branch of tree, or
Right.
but the first toothbrushes invented were very simple,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't discount their effort to get the job done. Around 3500 before Christ, the
Oh,
Egyptians and the Babylonian were the first to use this simple invention.
so 5,000 years ago, the Egyptians made
Yeah,
toothbrushes.
yes,
Wow.
3000 before Christ. That's
Mm-hmm.
been a while. Back then, they used materials such as tree twigs, bird feathers,
Mm,
and animal bones.
mm,
They would chew on one end, of the object until it was soft like a brush,
Uh-huh.
and this mechanical action helped to remove plaque from their teeth and helped to stimulate their gum tissue.
Nice.
How interesting is that?
Yeah, that people figured that out so long ago. Even they were loving themselves and brushing their teeth.
Wow. And guess what? Toothbrushes for all. The first mass produced toothbrush was produced in Europe
Hmm.
in 1700. It's like in 1780.
1780.
In 1770, William Addis had been jailed for causing a riot. While he was in prison, he realized that using a rag with soot and salt on his teeth could be improved. He saved small bones from one of his meal and then drilled small hole into it. He added tufts of bristle into the holes in the bones and then sealed the hole with glue to help hold the tufts together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's and he did all this in prison.
All in prison.
Yeah.
He started a business manufacturing toothbrush, which made him very wealthy.
Mm.
He passed away in 1808, and by 1840, Britain, France, Germany, and Japan were mass producing toothbrush.
What year was that again?
That was by 1840. And
1840. So
yeah,
just a few years really.
yeah.
Nice.
And guess what? The first patent for a toothbrush in the United States came in 1857, and mass production came to the United States in 1885. And at the time, the toothbrush was composed of a bone handle with Siberian boar hair bristle. It is really interesting about the history of toothbrush.
Yeah, that is really
Yeah,
interesting.
that's what I have for you guys today about in our dental facts. Hopefully you enjoy it and you know about a little bit about the history of toothbrush. In the meantime, Jennifer and I encourage you to take time, take 2 minutes of your day,
Mm-hmm.
at least twice a day. That means
Day.
4 minutes,
4 minutes.
out of 24 hours.
We'll say 5 minutes just to give you time to get the toothbrush.
Get the toothbrush and fill your tooth with your tongue to make sure it's clean
Yes. So 5 minutes total.
to brush. And remember, it's part of your hygiene routine because you're supposed to floss, brush, and I advise my patient to use a mouthwash to get the job completed.
And tongue scraper.
Tongue scraper to get all those bad guys out because they love the tongue
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
But anyway, that's it. That's conclude our episode for today. Do you have anything to conclude the episode, Jen?
I think we did a great job talking about why brushing. I think we hit all the high points. I think we talked about some interesting things, and I hope someone learned something.
Yes, I'm hoping that say someone start, that will create awareness. That's the reason that we start that podcast to create awareness about oral health.
Awareness. Yeah.
Yes, and I want people to make oral health as a priority because it starts with the mouth. The
Yes.
mouth is the gate of the body.
The whole
That's
body.
why mouth
Your mouth
matters.
matters.
And we'll see you guys at the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. That's a wrap for today's episode of Mouth Matters. Thank you so much for joining us on our journey to better oral health.
If you enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, feel free to reach out to us on social media or email us at mouthmatterspodcast@gmail.com.
Keep in touch and send us your feedback.
Until next time, keep smiling and remember your mouth matters.